You're listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Tuesday the 19th of May, 2026. It is 60 days after the spring equinox. It is 33 days before the summer solstice. In today's episode, edible plants, jumping from the Brooklyn Bridge, Oscar Wilde in jail, Malcolm X, and Grace Jones. The sun rises today at 5:35 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:52 p.m. The sun sets today at 8:10 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 8:42 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 9:21 p.m. The length of daytime today is 1 minute, 47 seconds longer than yesterday. The moon is in its waxing crescent phase and is 12% full at midday. The moon rises today at 7:49 a.m. and then it sets at 11:56 p.m. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the middle of the night, high tide, 12:38 a.m., 1 meter 95. In the morning, low tide, 6:57 a.m., minus 6 centimeters. In the afternoon, high tide, 1:19 p.m., 1 meter 58. In the evening, low tide, 7:05 p.m., 15 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, in almost every nook and cranny where plants can grow, common weeds are appearing in abundance. One of these is lamb's quarters. We know you've seen them. They self-sow easily, producing upright green stalks that can grow to waist height. Their leaves have toothy edges and are broadly triangular. The dead giveaway in identifying them is that the newest leaves at the top of the plant have a whitish, dusty coating. A member of the amaranth family, lamb's quarters are also known as goosefoot or wild spinach, and they are edible and nutritious. In fact, the plant is cultivated for food in many parts of the world. It can be eaten raw, steamed, boiled, or blanched. This provokes a sad thought. All across the neighborhood, a delicious green is growing that we can't eat because of dog pee and soot. Doesn't that say something about the state of our urban environment? Commemorations. Don't try this one at home. On this day in 1885, Robert Emmett Odlum jumped from the Brooklyn Bridge. Odlum was a master swimmer who had established a swimming school in Washington, D.C., known as the Natatorium. He had a posh clientele from the nation's political elite. Odlum was also a showman who demonstrated his tremendous swimming skills through acts of long-distance endurance and daring. He once jumped 90 feet from the wooden bridge at Occoquan Falls in the upper Potomac. On this day he evaded the police to make his jump from the Brooklyn Bridge. He leapt from a height of 140 feet, positioning his body straight to break cleanly through the water's surface. But the wind caught him, and he landed at an angle. His internal organs were ruptured, and he died within the hour. Remember Robert Emmett Odlum's jump today. On this day in 1897, Oscar Wilde was released from Reading Jail. The Irish-born writer was one of the great wits of his age, but his affair with another man, Lord Alfred Douglas, had led to his conviction for gross indecency and a sentence to 2 years' hard labor. Such were the cruel laws at the time. The night of his release he sailed for exile in France. He died 3 years later in penury. In prison, he composed a long letter to his former lover. It is known now by the title De Profundis, or From the Depths. In it, he reflects on the relationship and on human nature. He wrote this: "Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation." Remember the suffering of Oscar Wilde today. Today we remember Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little on this day in 1925 in Nebraska. As a young man he found himself in prison. The Nation of Islam gave him a new sense of purpose, dignity, and self-control. He gave up his given last name, which he regarded as a token of slavery, and took the last name X to signify the culture's erasure of his African roots. And he became a leader in black liberation. He was critical of Martin Luther King's advocacy of nonviolence, and his outspokenness for the cause of justice was uncompromising. After he broke with the Nation of Islam, joining the Sunni branch of World Islam, he continued to speak out, and he was assassinated in 1965. He once wrote this: "If you are not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing." Remember Malcolm X today. Today we wish a happy birthday to Grace Jones, born this day in 1948 in Spanish Town, Jamaica. She first burst onto the scene as a model, with her striking long limbs and androgynous looks. By the late 1970s, she had started a musical career and became central to the disco scene associated with Studio 54. Her music transitioned to a new wave sound in the 80s. At the age of 78, she is still touring and performing around the world. Do you remember when Keith Haring painted her? They were introduced by Andy Warhol, and Haring covered her body with his bold glyphs, his white paint in stark contrast to her rich, dark skin. Robert Mapplethorpe photographed one of their encounters. Happy birthday, Grace Jones. And that is the Observatory, Tuesday the 19th of May, 2026.